Hello and welcome to another video. In today's video, just doing updates on a lot of different things. What's going on here at the property, how things are going, how things work. So the first thing is my collector's car. This is a 2005 Magnum RT all-wheel drive with under 100,000 miles. It's been my plan since I bought this car to keep it until it's a collector's car and then potentially show it or whatever. So this is my collector's car, and it's infested with rodents so bad that I noticed it was developing condensation inside, so I just opened the doors and I don't know. Problem is if I don't know how they're getting into the car. I'm fortunate they're not getting in my truck, although when I was under the hood of the truck, I saw where they had started to make a little nest up next to the motor. It's like, so even if I do clean up the car, it'll be just a matter of time before they're in it again. So that has been kind of a depressing scenario for months now. Ever since I realized that they're in there. So basically the plan is to kind of get a trailer, haul it to some place that has a detail shop, get it detailed, and then take it to some other place that can check for damage, just damage from the rodents. Get it fixed, and then I don't know, I've been literally thinking of just like building a plywood box around it. I mean, just like a 3/4 inch plywood. Rats and mice can chew through that. Will they spend a whole lot of time just to get out of car? Maybe. I don't know what else to do. I'd like to be able to, if I could afford it, I'd buy a shipping container and just stick it in the shipping container and clean it up and then stick it in the shipping container and forget about it for 9 years and pull it out in 9 years. And one of the fun things I've thought about doing with it is buying a totaled one and turning the back into a trailer. So having the Dodge Magnum or the Dodge Magnum trailer, that maybe the trailer pops up and like has like maybe a little kitchen or something in it, stereo. So, and go to car shows, pretty much. That would show car, something fun to do. That's been the plan for that car. So it's kind of, for the lack of a better term, depressing me that the rats and mice are just having a free-for-all in there. So, and then you can see here, I got my piles. Mostly stuff's up, but there's a whole nother phase. So first is you got to pluck the junipers out, then you got to push them all into a pile, and then I'm running the backhoe and float reverse and just basically trying to disturb every single inch of ground and destroy the sage, crumple them down into nothing, ideally scrape a bunch of them up into piles to be burned. So we've had such beautiful weather that it looks like the sage is actually starting to to bloom. So yeah, the weather has just been insanely nice. Tons of solar. I think I made like 8 kilowatts yesterday, because now I'm actually able to use these electric heaters that I bought months ago for this exact scenario. Sun and cold. So this is what it looks like when I finished the pass. Now I'm gonna have a lot of stuff like this, but that'll burn a lot easier than like this will. In the summer, that'll burn like crazy, but in this time of year, not so much. So once this entire property has been knocked down, and basically I try to let the rain, you know, because if it gets too dry, it's just not making a ton of dust. That's really not ideal on the backhoe. I mean, if I have to, I have to, but if I'm just doing this kind of stuff. So after that's all done, I actually have a bunch of grass and wheat seed that I want to just spread. So I got some crazy varieties of grass that I found in Bend, like big ornamental grass, but apparently there was a lot bigger varieties of grasses around the United States 200 years ago, and like some reports of like grasses with like almost like bamboo. So anyway, I'm gonna bring that grass out and spread it around. Now I've got so much rodent, because that's what they eat. They eat the grass seed, right? I can just walk around out here. I'll do it right now, and you can just find areas where there's a rodent population where they just eat down the side of the grass, and then it falls down, and then they just eat it, the seed off of it. So it's like they're mowing the grass, and it's the only animal input that my property currently has, which is, well, that and rabbits, which are, you know, not really getting the work done that I need. So I just really need some goats. And the problem is I don't really have the capability to keep them safe. I'm starting to kind of come up with like a little plan, because I really need goats to start doing the work around here, right? I mean, the backhoe is good for a certain level, but then once that's done, the backhoe is kind of useless for this changing the ground over. So here we are in an area that I have not been driving around with the backhoe, right? So, and you can see right here all the grass that's down, right? And if you look at it, like there's one they cut that one down. It's been cut down, but they haven't eaten the top yet, right? But if you look all over here, look at all the tops are gone. So that's what the rodents eat. Now, I have a big pile of unprocessed dirt right there. So, oh, and then you can see this right here. This is obviously rodents here. We got a big pot, we got a big one here. 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 Another one there. Yeah. This is massive. I just noticed that. There's more there. There. It's time for the backhoe. I get in here and just squish these. Because that's where it all starts. And this whole area, well, my whole property eventually is going to be rodent free. with the installation of the fence and the bringing in of all the appropriate animals and just all the steps that will be eventually completely 100% rodent free with no poisons or pesticides or anything like that. Maybe some trapping, but ideally just running most of them out and then having animals, because like goats will eat rats and mice, the little ones, in their day-to-day going through stuff. So those things, and chickens eat little mice as well. So yeah, having because see, when you're doing the intensive grazing, this will be a giant garden with regular rows, right? So it'll have more fencing and stuff. But then the rest of the property is just gonna have lines of trees, one line going off over there to separate a amount of pasture grass in between. So that's how the whole property is divided up. And then there's ponds and little streams that connect the ponds and all that. And then up here in the front, we have where the wildflower and honeybees are. This is where the septic system is going to go. Burnt shipping container is going to turn into a tower. And instead of covering it with rocks like I first was contemplating, I think I can actually do that with juniper rounds. So just like, you cut a juniper, like if you were going to cut it into firewood, but then you just have this whatever length. I'd probably do it like 6 inches or 8 inches round, and then you just use cob, and then like you're building a brick wall, right? So that, because I'm working for a neighbor over there that's clearing a lot of his junipers out, and I can have as many as I want. And rocks are a little harder to come by and a little more ornamental. So I don't know when the tower's gonna get done. That's so far back on the list of things that needs to get done. It's not even funny, but until it's a tower, it's a giant thing making the property less valuable. It's a new door for my front door because it has a window, and having a box with no window is no bueno. Like, I was hoping I was going to get the window that I originally had planned to put right here, right in front of the kitchen, right? Well, I've had a total, since living in this now for however many months it's been, now I'm developing, because my original concept was to have bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, every single thing in this one container, right? But my original plan has a giant room right here. It's got a concrete floor. And then there's a hallway that goes right here. And then there's another giant room back there. So why do I need to pack everything into one room? This was quick, not cheap. It was quick, rodent proof, weather proof, secure, okay? That's why I went with the shipping container for this, right? Because to get to that, I was living in a tent up there, right? So just, I sold a trailer and I bought this and I put it in, and now it's a foundation. So what my new design is, and I ran a gas line in there to put a stove in there. And I'm like, because I'm having problems with condensation. I'm having less and less problems now that I'm actually aware of the problem and I've taken all these steps to mitigate it. It's not as much of a problem. And in the final, when everything's done, it won't be a problem at all. But still, why do I want to pack every single thing in this one room and then have this like giant room right here, So instead of doing that, now I'm just going to have my bedroom, bathroom in there, and then the kitchen's going to be out here and my office, right? Instead of every single thing being in there. And a lot of that is just because like spending too much time in there really is affecting me. This is part of the reason why I've got a window now is, just being in a box. Now I also have changed my bed around. This is my headboard that I might have installed a little bit too low, but that's the great thing about the Super Strut. It's adjustable. It's a Super Strut bed. I had it up almost to the ceiling, and that was messing with me. And it wasn't easy to move. I mean, it took me most of a day to lower it down. But now that it's lower, I look forward to getting into my bed. Where before, I woke up one night and had a legitimate freaking panic attack. Actually, it was on my birthday. So I woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning on my birthday having a panic attack caused by being too close to the ceiling. Like, I think I was like sucking up all the oxygen, maybe even, right? Because like up at the high, it's hotter. So anyway, I got that taken care of, and I'm feeling much better now. With the addition of a window, I'll be golden. So I've got wiring stuff going in. I've ended up changing my plans from putting a wire, an extension cord in a box out here to having a little box that I can just plug the extension cord into reverse, right? So I didn't really know that was a thing when I made my original plans. So getting all those correct parts has been a problem. And then I have, in this box build, I have had 2 parts now. I had one broken part. I got some bad advice on what part to replace it with. Replaced it with the wrong part. That broke a switch. So now I've got a broken switch. I've got the correct part. So now I've got to get that switch before I can even make that thing fixed, right? So that's been on hold, and I haven't worked on it for days. And there's a huge video about that whole build project that's going to be coming up soon as it's finished. So, but I mean, but I've been so lucky, and the sun is just, look at that. It's just all day, every day. Like, I have been not needing any sort of extra power for, I don't even remember the last time. And the last time it was like, all I used extra power was to pump the water to wash the dishes, right? So instead of running the pump off the battery, I just run it off the truck just to make sure, and I made it for the following day, and ever since then, which honestly it's been like 10 days or something like that, but now we have a little spell coming up of cloudy days. Today is supposed to end in clouds, so it'll be a shorter day, but I'm already up to max power. I'm already using power like crazy because I'm using electric heat. So what's holding me back on my solar system being like looking and being at a little better situation? Like, this looks pretty no bueno. But the biggest problem is the battery. The batteries, and I've gone over this before, I got sold a battery that's not a 48 volt battery as a 48 volt battery. So I have to run this different solar charge controller to be able to limit down to the 46.8 volts that it can go up to. Okay, so that then means that I can only run at this certain amperage through that charge controller, right? So the way that my solar panels are all wired in changes when I get the right battery. So I will, at that point, have everything in enclosures and the proper breakers and everything totally, I have to get a wireway, right? which the wireway will go from here down to like here and across, and that will house most of the wires that are just kind of crazy right now, right? And it looks crazy, but really it's not really crazy. It's just like the wires aren't run, so there's nothing there that's dangerous. And if I was to touch these, are, you know, don't touch that is pretty much the one dangerous. But I mean, it's pretty simple not to touch things, right? So, oh, now my tanks are here and here, and I've got them completely covered, and I have them connected to a pump that I switch back and forth. Oh, it's right here in my pocket. And then I've got that pump on a remote switch. So when I do dishes, I just use these two bins here, and I rinse with the hose, and then I pour the water. Now, I made this for a shower to go in there. Okay, but that wasn't going to work because, well, it does this every once in a while. So what this is this is basically my gray water system. So this just takes the water in, and it cycles. So all this whole, in my opinion, we've already been in winter since about the 1st of November. My calculations change the seasons a little bit. Like, so instead of the start of winter being on the shortest day is the very start. No, that's the middle. Now where I am, you go 2 months either side of that, and that's where 90% of your winter weather ends up. And then either end of that, you'll get maybe a little winter, maybe a little spring or fall, even possibly summer. So I just hit that button and go like this. Okay, so the weather, you know, and we've had this really beautiful weather, but it'll freeze, and it just takes, you know, if it just doesn't get up over 40 in the shade, the hose will stay frozen. But like today, it's supposed to get up to 50, and that hose will unfreeze, and that'll all drain out. And that's actually extra full because after over a year of having this item that, well, I'm building a top secret coffee roaster. I'm not going to really video it. I'm not going to really talk about it because I'm developing a whole business around it. And I don't want somebody just copying me, you know, because, you know, that's the kind of world we live in, right? And, you know, I just want a nice little coffee business. And I actually started this coffee business over a year ago. So I started the coffee business. Started building the roaster. Once I got the roaster to a certain point, I'm like, man, I just can't have this thing out in the weather, right? So I started building these roofs, literally, to cover the roaster. That's what those roofs, this whole area was originally intended to be roasting and storage and a little shop, you know. And it was mostly out of the weather because there was a shipping container right there. So it was, you know, but I then, instead of just going ahead with the roasting project, I was like, man, all these roofs are nice. I'm going to put one over build one so I can pull my RV up and have my RV out of the weather, out of the entryway out of the weather, right? Well, and the rest is history. I was piling everything all up into one little pile and building these big wood exposed rafter easily. This stuff's great to build with and was cheap, but it burns. This stuff here, it burns like crazy. Like it's everything fire loves. You know, it's filled with glue and, you know, so anyway, that stuff burned like insane. So I don't even want to put my just a quick look. My coffee roaster under wood. So I need to build out some sort of. I have metal roofing, but it's like I'm just thinking of putting it on a trailer. To be honest, like a trailer, and then just building a little shack around the trailer. That way, I can move it and potentially even sell it. If I build the business up and somebody's like, "Oh, I'll buy that business from you," I'm gonna be like, "Cool, here you go." So, yeah, I'm doing that. What else do I have going on? Oh, the plumbing. So, I mean, we're getting towards the end of January. I'm guessing that sometime in March, I'm gonna have a week of weather that I can do this. So, I've got this hose situation. I've got a pressure pump, and I've got a pressure tank, right? And I've got those little tanks where I could build a little plumbing system and do this, but that's still the only drain that I have, right? So until I have the sewage treatment plant in place to deal with even just whatever, I mean, because right now I haul the black water into town like once a week. I got a little camp toilet. I've been hauling the black water into town every week since I've been out here. For over 2 years I've been hauling black water. And it was a lot more work with the RV because the tank was a lot bigger. And I would still haul it once a week, but it would just get to be a lot fuller because it was a toilet that flushed. And also that's a urinal as well. So, and if anybody's disgusted by that, I have witnessed I mean, I can literally, like right here, I'm standing here right now, can witness as I'm saying this, the power of gray water as I look at a spot over here that had been getting gray water, and I can just see the grass is just all more vibrant. I don't know if you'll be able to tell that, but this line of grass right on the other, not this little, well, actually all this got gray water too, and that over there, and that over there, and they're all very, 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 very bright, vibrant grass growing, right? So yeah, I'm sold on that. And once I have the sewage treatment plant, like everything is going to go through that. But then the water that comes out of it's usable as well. Here's another thing I've been meaning. I don't know if this will show up on camera or not. But if you look right here. So here's the grass that has been, the ground that has been disturbed is right there. And over here has not. Now, not only is the volume of grass over there higher than it is over there, but I don't know if the color difference, but the grass over there is more yellow. The grass over there is more white. Like it stands out like drastically to me, but I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up or not. So this is what we want, though. We want the grass to come back and to be vibrant. Now I've got to get animals. I've been wishing I could get my neighbors to bring their animals over here to eat the grass, and don't think about. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. So by doing this massive disturbance to the entire property, I'm looking to get those results. That was a lot more work because I literally moved dirt around to make it really flat, which isn't my intent. I'm going to fill holes out here and any like big problems or whatever. But other than that, I'm just knocking down the sage and disturbing the ground. And hopefully by doing that, I'm going to get like some really serious freaking quality grass growing out here. And then it's all about getting the animals to start eating that grass. Because to just be growing the grass and then not have that animal input is incomplete, right? You gotta have that cycle. Those animals are gonna be rototilling those areas that are in between the grass, and then the grass can start to come up in those areas as well. And without the animals doing that, so I've been thinking about building a little shack and buying a little mobile electric fence, right? And then just moving that around the property and having goats in there, right? So, I gotta do something. I gotta get animals out there doing it, because right now I'm just making great snacks for rodents. And the rodents are just loving life. And they're loving life so much they're toasting my car. So, all right. This has been an update video. I wouldn't call it a quick update video, but it's been an update video. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Peace.